Kukrudu. 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 President Nana John Agyekum Kufuor, members of the National Council, ministers of region, members of I thank the Almighty God for this historic day. I want to express my profound gratitude and appreciation to His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the honor of reaching out again to select me for the 4th time to serve as his running mate. His running mate, and inshallah, the next Vice President of the Republic in 2021. This day is historic because it has never happened before in the history of our country that a presidential candidate will select the same running mate 4 times in a row. That's never happened before. His Excellency the President selected me in 2008 against all odds. In 2012, in 2016, and now in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this tells you about the man, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that I have come to know over the last few years. He is a strong leader. He's a caring leader, a God-fearing leader, a trustworthy leader, and a in 2012. And he could have dropped me in 2016. Mr. President, I'll never take the trust and loyalty of your mandate as president. Sir, it has been a privilege and an honor working for you, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity. God bless you. Mr. President, you have chosen me for the 4th time, and inshallah, the people of Ghana will give you 4 more years to do more for Ghanaians. Furthermore, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude for their overwhelming endorsement of my nomination. What can I say more in appreciation to all members and sympathizers of the... You've appreciated me, and I say God bless you all. Of my family, my parents, my friend Kwabena Boydu, and my entire family, I thank you all very much. As a believer in and practitioner of the liberal democratic values and principles of the Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition, like all of you here, I have been inspired throughout my life by the thinking and deeds, sacrifices and accomplishments of such great political icons of our country and party, such as Dr. J.B. Dankwa, Chief S.D. Dombo, Edward Akufo-Addo, William Oforiatta, Alhaji Yakubu Tali Tolona, Upechibi Lampe, Professor K. Buzia, Jatoka Leo, Naba Ifa Kabo, Alhaji Aliu Mahama, C.K. Tedam, S.G. Anto, Alberta Jude Boahing, Araram Ponsa, J.B. Darocha, Hawa Yakubu, Gladys Asma, J.H. Mensah, and our own gentle giant, the great J.A. Kufuor, among others. Without them, I would not be here. I'm so indebted to so many men and women or recognition to ensure that the sacrifices of these great men and women made by the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and our great party. It is a responsibility I will execute. I associate myself with the view of my boss, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that politics is a call to service. It is about serving your country and delivering concrete results that improve on the welfare of your fellow citizens. I believe that an opportunity to serve Ghana is an opportunity and a privilege to serve all Ghana, regardless of ethnicity, gender, religion, education, income, and so on. It is in this context, Dodankwa, 28% of the promises we made to the people of Ghana and across the spectrum of economic and social policies. We have not only delivered on our promises, we have performed much better than the incompetent alternative. Much, much better. They say we have short memories, but I don't think you can say that about the elephant. We recall that 8 years in office, after 8 years in office, the result of their economic mismanagement was declining growth, high and constantly rising inflation, rapidly depreciating currency, loss of business confidence, high unemployment, probably 5% average annual increase in electricity prices, increases in taxes, the freeze on public recruitment, cuts in research allowances, termination of teachers and nursing training allowances, corrupt practices associated with acquisition of passports, driver's licenses, and so on. Finally, they ended up with the IMF for a bailout. Notwithstanding this abysmal performance in office, they are still trying to make a comeback to give us an additional dose of their incompetence. Mr. Chairman, I know they don't read, but I read the data, but they should try to understand it so that they don't mislead Ghanaians like their mosquito general tried to do after the verdict of the Supreme Court on Thursday. If they study the data, they would realize that. Mr. Chairman, any claim to better management of the economy must ultimately reflect in the lives of the people. How have we been able to reduce the suffering of our people and make life easier for them after 3.5 years in office? Exactly what President Akufo-Addo has done. We have ended the suffering associated with Dumso. We have reduced electricity tariffs by 10.9%, compared to a cumulative increase of 264% under the NDC. And we have further reduced tariffs by 50% for the months of April, May, and June this year. We provided free water for households in April, May, and June. Petroleum prices have increased by half the rate that they did in the public sector. We've recruited over 550,000 people. We've abolished fees for postgraduate medical training, increased the share of the District Assembly Common Fund to the disabled. We've exempted KIA from market tolls. We've ensured the implementation of our promise to employ 50% of the persons who manage the country's toll booths from amongst persons with disabilities. We've restored the teacher training allowance, restored the nursing training allowance, restored the book and research allowance. We are paying professional allowances to teachers. The 3-month arrears policy, salary arrears policy for teachers has been abolished. We are absorbing the cost of BEC and WACSI exam registrations. We've sent 40 students from our Zongo and inner city communities on scholarship to Cuba to study medicine. We've abolished 15 taxes, including taxes on financial services, real estate, airline, and so on. We've reduced import duties by 50% generally and 30% on cars. We've made it easier through digitization to apply for a passport, to apply for a driver's license, to obtain your pension when you retire, to buy electricity through the ECG app. We've made it easier to apply for scholarships. We've made it easier to send money and receive money from people through mobile money interoperability. We've made it easier to renew your NHIS membership, to register a business, and we have reduced the corruption associated with obtaining services from the public service. We've saved the NHIS from collapse. We are providing 600 million Ghana cedis to small businesses. We've made seeds and fertilizers and extension services available to farmers. Whilst reducing inflation and reducing interest rates, we've halved the depreciation of the cedi. We've paid allowances to UN personnel, increase from military and police from $31 to $35. People have implemented. We have been able to do all the 8 years in government. The NDC economy could not afford to pay teacher training allowances of just 60 million Ghana cedis. That economy, they had to restore these allowances, reduce and abolished NAPCO, the tax decisions, the tax deductions, teacher and nursing training allowances, and the cost of cleaning up the cedis. 20.14 billion Ghana cedis. So how can an economy that could not afford 60 million Ghana cedis on teacher training allowances? This is why the NDC never believed that free SHS, which is costing us over 2 billion Ghana cedis annually, was possible immediately. We made it possible, and the difference is the competence of the economic management under the strong and decisive leadership of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is therefore important that we stay the course and not play chaskele with the economy. Incompetent economic management has major consequences. The money we used to clean up the financial sector, over 15 billion Ghana cedis, and to pay the excess capacity charges from the power purchase agreements that the NDC entered into, could have been used to do much more. Mr. Chairman, we have done a lot in the last 3.5 years, but there is a lot more to do to realize the vision of the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The goal, as set out by the President, is a Ghana beyond aid. It is to build a modern, prosperous, and self-reliant nation which leaves no one behind. We have started putting in place the building blocks and systems. Economies work when systems and institutions work. We want to move away from the discretion of individuals to the efficiency of systems and institutions. Economies that depend on the discretion of individuals to get things done are generally inefficient and breed corruption. This is why we have, over the last 3.5 years, started to put in place the digitization of systems and institutions that will drive our march towards the Ghana beyond aid. Many people have wondered why we have taken such an interest in digitization. The answer is simple. We are thinking about the future, and digitization holds the key to the future in boosting economic growth, efficiency of service delivery in the public sector, reduction in corruption, transparency, and accountability. As an economist, I understand that there are certain key systems and institutions that have to be in place, and financial inclusion and an efficient public sector delivery. The application of technology through digitization is going to help us put all these systems and institutions in place. Digitization is the best way to protect the poor and the underprivileged, and to have who have no connections. With digitization, I can renew my NHIS membership on my mobile phone or apply for my passport online. I don't have to know anybody. With digitization, government revenues will increase several-fold. You will not have to pay a bribe to get a driver's license or a birth certificate. The implications of digitization for the economy are phenomenal. And by the grace of God, Ghana will become the most digitized economy in Africa in our next term in office. We are on track, and we are making good progress. By the end of this year, most adults will have the national ID cards, and all houses by the end of this year are being provided unique Ghana Post digital addresses, which we will start putting the plates on each house. So far, we have finished uniquely identifying about 2.5 million houses, and we have 1.5 to go, and we will complete that before the end of the year, and then the posting of the addresses on the houses will start. By next year, all government services can be obtained and paid for electronically at one portal. So if you're going to Elmina Castle, for example, you can buy your ticket to go to Elmina Castle on your mobile phone and get there and go in without going there personally. All the services, we will start moving forward. We are going to integrate the databases next year, the National ID, GRA, SNIT, DVLA, Passport, NHIS, Registrar Generals, births and deaths, and all of that. We will be doing that next year, and Ghana will become quite different. Today, thanks to mobile money interoperability, the mobile money account is effectively a bank account, and over 90% of the bankable public in Ghana today have this bank account into which they can make and receive payments as well as receive interest on their balances. So, by the grace of God, if we come into office next term, we are going to continue with this process. We will digitize the land registry. We are going to bring in the credit reference agencies, which would make it easier to get a loan. Interest rates should decline. The progress of work on free Wi-Fi to the senior secondary schools is ongoing, and we will provide it. We will aim for 100% electricity coverage, the industrialization and agenda on bauxite and iron and steel and automotive and pharmaceuticals will take place. The president has already stated Agenda 88 that we intend to build district hospitals in all districts that have none, 7 additional regional hospitals, 2 additional psychiatric hospitals, and so on. So we have an exciting future ahead of us. President Nana Akufo-Addo is building a future for the youth of this country, and I'm asking all the youth of this country and the good people of Ghana to give Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP 4 more to do more for you. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, I would like to state again that I am most honored and privileged and thankful that I have been chosen by the President to serve once again as his running mate. It is important to note that my job as running mate is to support the President in implementing his vision. The best running mate in the world would not make a difference if the President is indecisive or incompetent. I am thankful. I said that the best running mate in the world will not make a difference if the President is indecisive or incompetent. I am thankful that in the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I have a strong, decisive, incorruptible, and competent President to work for. Mr. Chairman, all I can say now is that I wholeheartedly and with all humility accept the nomination, and I am ready and prepared to serve. I say to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the NPP, and Ghanaians that I am reporting for duty as running mate to His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, the current and inshallah the next President of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you for your attention. Kukrudu.
I'm shocked. I face in day. Oh, feature. I'm gonna oh, feature. Oh, feature. I'm gonna oh, feature. I'm saying, Richard, I saw by you there. Cafés Kipe, Ofecho, Agana Ofecho. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please be seated. Kukurudu. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to free Ghana. I said the elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to free Ghana. We shall win to free Ghana. We shall win to save Ghana. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to free Ghana. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to free Ghana. Eshie, 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 Eshiran. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, we can't end this session without having the Don Dada himself, the man who started it all. Former President John Ajekum Kufuor. Congress like this. The former president addresses us briefly, so we can wrap it up for the first session, and then we'll break and come back again for the outdooring, the unveiling of the Nana Bawumia ticket for election 2020. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, our distinguished first and second ladies, Mr. Chairman, members of the National Council, including all of us, I'm honored and very happy to be here today to witness the outdooring of our veteran, very experienced politician who is already the President of the Republic and who in a way is being renewed today as our candidate into the next round of national elections. I'm sure the people of Ghana will give him the mandate again to continue with the work that he started so ably. The hallmark of our president and his vice truly is beautifully articulated leadership. They articulate the vision of our tradition so ably and so down to earth in a way that the grassroots appreciate, as well as the high-browed. It's very difficult for political leadership to combine such vision and articulation as the two of them do. Their relationship tends to be like the well-known Catholic marriage, marriage that lasts into decades. They come to be like family. We just heard the Vice President, the way he summarized the philosophy, the vision for sustainable, inclusive development that our nation aspires for. Inclusive social interventions. People ask whether this party is leftist or socialist. We are not. But I tell you, we respect capitalism with conscience. Capitalism that is human. And this is why we fix the safety nets. The safety nets below which we do not allow any human to fall under. And that's what the leadership we have today. President Akufo-Addo, Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia, this is what the two of them articulate so competently. And I believe within just a short period of 3.5 years, they've shown this vision, they've displayed strategy. Initially, even some of us thought perhaps they were promising too much for a 4-year term of office. But within 3.5 years, see what they have already achieved. I wouldn't say we are perfect. No, I don't believe perfection in humanity. I don't subscribe to that. But even as I admit we are not perfect, I tell you, we have greats. It's almost like a saint. And this leadership really is working towards realizing a very high degree of success for political leadership. And this is why I believe the coming election, and I pray God would give us life, and God would also touch the hearts of Ghanaians across the board. So as we march towards the December election, Ghanaians would not allow pettiness to divert us from the vision, the course. We talk of sustainable development. How do you get sustainable development without wealth? How do you get the wealth without investment? If you bring in too much leftist ideology, you won't attract the investment. And if the investment does not come, whether in industrialization or in agriculture or in the services, I tell you, there will be no job creation. And we have got teeming youth. We must inspire them with hope, with vision. This leadership doesn't just talk, it does too. It does the work. And I believe this is why Ghana should give NPP. I always say our party is destined to lead in the transformation of the country. And the party keeps on giving the leadership that will do the work for Ghana. And it's a typical example. Even in the midst of COVID-19, if you listen and you see, and then, as the Vice President just said, go to the statistical department, check the figures. You'll be surprised with the achievements being done. And this is why I'm so happy to be here. It's not given to old men to see their children, grandchildren rise and prosper the way this party is already displaying. And I pray that the good Lord would bless our current leadership to lead us into victory, and the victory should be sustained. Victory after victory after victory. So we give Ghana the transformation all of us pray for. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for inviting me. To the meeting. I'm a member of Council of Elders, so I'm entitled to be here. I'm also, in a way, I was the bridge between the old party and the new one. And it's not a broken down bridge, so I'm happy to be here. And I pray that Nana and Mahmoud would continue, and then the future of the party will be sustained for Ghana, inclusively. It's not just for our party, inclusively. The rule of law, wealth creation, humanity, all will come together. And the promise is clear for anybody who wants to see. God bless all of us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. DJ, thank you. Thank you. The Electoral Commission, Mr. Chairman, is begging leave of us before they are accused of being members of the National Council. So we put our hands together for them and say thank you very much for being with us to perform their constitutional duty, with your permission. Mr. Chairman, we're breaking for 10 minutes and we'll come back. Maybe we are not even going out. Stretch your legs, get some water, so we can continue immediately, and that will be the grand outdooring, unveiling of the Nana Bawumia tickets. let's not forget that we are social distancing, and so we are keeping to COVID-19 protocols. So Mr. DJ, just give us 1-2 interlude, and we are sitting down in some 10 minutes. We are sitting back in 10 minutes so we can continue. There is water at the vantage areas for you to have some drink. And then we are assembling back in 10 minutes.
Great to crack.